With so many games on Xbox Game Pass, you may be wondering which ones have been the best reviewed. It's always best to try out games for yourself, but maybe you're time poor and busy with, life, that you just need some guidance as to which games have reviewed well and which most gamers and players really enjoy playing. So these are the best rated games according to Metacritic reviews. This is also taking into consideration all Xbox consoles and PC, so scores may vary between the platforms, but only one will be included, or there may not be a score at all for a particular platform, but the games must be available across systems. And of course, scores can change over time. There are tons of great games here, which makes Game Pass a treasure trove of great games to play. But if you like the video, then please leave a comment down below telling me which are your favorite games, and it really helps getting YouTube to recommend the video to others. Give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it. Plus stop by the Discord, and with that, let's check out the highest rated games on Xbox Game Pass. Let's do it. So kicking off at the score of 80, we have the action role-playing roguelike of Children of Morta, which has several playable characters too with different abilities, or test your patience with the pinpoint precision of landing spacecrafts with Elite Dangerous. Or maybe check out Fable 3, worthy if you want to check out more of Albion. There's the head scratcher of Gorogoa, which may be for you. There's the puzzle/platformer of Lost Words Beyond the Page. Then we keep with the platforming side of things with Super Lucky's Tale. Next, it's Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare 2, the third-person shooter. Then we have Skate 3 for those who enjoy the more realistic side of skating, to a point. Then it's off to a planet far from Earth in the first-person Slime Rancher. Next, we have Superliminal, the puzzle game based on illusions. Then it's the FMV narrative game of telling lies, a style you don't see much of these days. Tetris Effect Connected comes in here too, with, well, everyone knows what Tetris is, don't they? Next is the great Artful Escape with its beautiful visual design. If you're after a sports fix with some good visual design as well, then it's Windjammers too. Then there's the excellent Gears Tactics and Among Us. If you want a magic aesthetic in a roguelike, then Dandy Ace is here, as is Dreamscaper, or check out Dicey Dungeons, or maybe Lonely Mountains Downhill, or the stylized visuals of Octopath Traveler. Monster Sanctuary has you training and battling monsters as well. For the 81 score, we start with Battlefield 4, back when Battlefield campaigns actually existed and were damn good. Then it's City Skylines, who took up the mantle from SimCity when it became, well, a bit shit. Then it's Crown Trick, the adventure roguelike game, followed by Crysis, complete with its shitty Xbox 360 performance. Flynn, Son of Crimson is next, bringing its pixel art platforming with it. For something unique and very different, then it's Genesis Noir, followed by the racing goodness of Grid and the RTS action and management of Halo Wars 2. Lumines continues the Puzzlers, or maybe Lord of the Rings Shadow of War is more for you. Then there is another roguelike shooter with Neon Abyss for those who crave these, or you can hit up the Ice Rink with NHL 21. Perfect Dark Zero is also here, but a bit average in my opinion. If action is more your thing, then Rage, Remnant from the Ashes and Sniper Elite 4 should be checked out, or maybe you're after something more slower paced such as SnowRunner. For those into outer space, there's two very different options with Jedi Fallen Order for those after action, or Stellaris for those who want more of a grand strategy game. Or maybe you're more interested in what's under large oceans in Subnautica. The unique Sunset Overdrive is also here, as is the great Yakuza Remastered Collection. We have Unpacking for those wanting some laid-back puzzle solving, or Unravel 2 if platforming is more your thing, or throw some puzzles in as well with The Pedestrian, before going on a sci-fi adventure with XO1, or maybe the strange and unique Katamari Damacy re-roll, or the more open-world Paradise Killer. Or then there's the over-the-top bullet action of My Friend Pedro. Mirror's Edge also makes an appearance with its excellent parkour system. MLB The Show 21 also gets on here for those baseball lovers out there. For 82, we start with the heavy metal actioner of Brutal Legend and the JRPG of Final Fantasy 13 for those who can't get enough of this long-running series. Or there is the excellent Gears 5 and a fantastic first-person shooter of Prey, which everybody should check out. MotoGP 20 is here for the two-wheeled racing fans out there, along with the Extreme SSX or the old-school brawler of Streets of Rage 4. There are the unique entrants of Superhot, which I think is great, and Superland, or maybe scare yourself shitless with the Evil Within 1 and 2. The brilliant Skyrim Special Edition Open World RPG, the hard-hitting UFC 4, or the cute and forgotten series Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise. or venture into an all-out action adventure with Archvale, or return to Subnautica with Below Zero. The Dragon Age sequel is also here with Dragon Age 2. We start 83 with the excellent third-person A Plague Tale Innocence, with Battlefield 1943 popping up as well from the great Xbox 360 days. Deep Rock Galactic is for those wanting co-op underground action. Racing fans can get stuck into Dirt 5, which is really good, whilst those looking for some light-hearted multiplayer dodgeball, then it's Knockout City. For those looking for a little bit of stress in their gaming, then it's Overcooked 2. Then it's Super Mega Baseball 3, for those after maybe a sports game on the lighter side. If you're after a really good looking and more in-depth game, but also a relaxed one, then Hunter Call of the Wild is for you. Whilst for those wanting offbeat racing action, then check out Wreckfest. But also check out Doom 2, well, if you've never have, or the action base building nature of the Riftbreaker. Then it's 84 and we kick it off with the excellent Battlefield 3, followed by the more console friendly back in the day Crysis 2, complete with, well, more shitty performance. Then it's onto some stealth-like gameplay with Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. Unless you're more into the RPG side of gaming, with Fallout New Vegas, or a more indie-like action RPG with Moonlighter. For those after more action, especially with Xbox exclusive games, you can check out Gears of War 4 or Halo 5 here. The dev studio of Rare also gets represented with Rare Replay and Viva Pinata, a ton of fun with those two. Terraria, the sandbox game where you build and craft items, also gets a look, or maybe you would rather set up and run a hospital in 2 Point Hospital. Unsighted also gets, well, seen in another indie showing on the list, Wasteland 3 from In Exile, just a fantastic game. The classic Grim Fandango is also here with the remaster, the old school style of Infernax, or the quite unique indie adventure game of Spiritfarer, and this score finishes off with the long-running classic series of The Bard's Tale with number 4, plus the dungeon crawler of Darkest Dungeon. And then we have the excellent Guardians of the Galaxy, and if you haven't checked this one out yet, then this is a must play. Kicking off the 85 score is Batman Arkham Knight, and I'm still waiting on that damn frames per second boost, which hopefully we get someday. Then those after RPG goodness can check out the more JRPG side of the genre with Final Fantasy X and X-2 Remaster, or Dragon Age Inquisition for those who are BioWare fans, or maybe The Outer Worlds is for you from the incredibly talented Obsidian Studio. Those after more gunfight, dungeon crawling action, then there's Enter the Gungeon, and that name just sounds awesome. And then we get to two games that I always like telling people about, especially those after something a bit different, and it's Firewatch and Limbo. Two awesome games, which then leads us back to the ice rink with NHL 20, followed by the classic Halo games with Halo the Master Chief Collection. Then we have Tunic, the Zelda-like game that is just a blast. Then it's on to Peggle, Dragon Quest Builders 2, and the different but still great Doom 3. This one rounds off with the incredibly unique and much loved Outer Wilds. And we have the genre-defining Quake from the 90s. Up at 86, we start with a couple of races in the form of Dirt 4 and Dirt Rally, a developer and series of games which is pretty well represented on Game Pass. But if you're more of a fighting game fan, then this score has you covered with Dragon Ball FighterZ, Killer Instinct Definitive Edition, and really, this series has always been underrated and needs to have more love put into it from Microsoft. Or if you want some gruesome fatalities with Mortal Kombat 11, or perhaps you're more of a boxing fan and want some more realism in your fighting games as you punch your opponent in the face repeatedly, and this has the really good Fight Night Champion. Still looks great for an Xbox 360 game too. This also gets a game from a long-running series with Resident Evil 7, which in my opinion is easily one of the best Resident Evil games of all time. We also revisit the Skate series with the first game, and we finish this one with the role-playing game of Pillars of Eternity, another game from Obsidian and a must-play for the Baldur's Gate / Icewind Dale fans out there from back in the day. Then it's the action RPG of Bug Fables, The Everlasting Sapling, followed by Townscaper, Monster Train, and much loved Day of the Tentacle remaster. For the Metacritic score of 87, we have the excellent isometric action game of Death's Door, which is fantastic. Or maybe you're more of a first-person shooter fan, like so many others. And if that's the case, then you can rampage your way through the fantastic and fast-paced Doom 2016. Or maybe you enjoy more of a sci-fi twist to your shooters, and if that's the case, then Titanfall 2 is here to absolutely change how you feel about single-player shooter campaigns, an absolute gem. Or maybe you'd prefer to play as, well, a hole in the ground. And if that's what you've always wanted, for some reason, then Donut County is here to fulfill that strange but enjoyable need. We also have Yakuza 6, which is part of a series which continues to show just what can be done with characters and stories. And then we round it out here with The Elder Scrolls Morrowind, and the Xbox version isn't the best version by far, but it's still a classic. And then we have Halo Infinite as well. Up at 88, we revisit the Battlefield series with 2 in the form of Bad Company 1 and 2. And if you like first-person shooters and haven't played these campaigns, then please do so. And we continue with the first-person shooter games with the excellent Doom Eternal, which I prefer over the 2016 game. Well, minus those damn Marauders, but there's Wolfenstein the New Colossus for some really over-the-top action as well. But then we come back down to Dishonored 2, where the action is toned down, and the stealth gameplay and abilities are turned up. But we also get to revisit some classic Xbox games with the likes of the first Psychonauts, which is good but wasn't great for myself, plus the excellent Crimson Skies, which was just awesome then and still is so damn good and incredibly underrated. Then it's the Forgotten City, which you definitely shouldn't forget about, as it's really damn good visually and story-wise. Then we continue that trend with the awesome Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, which is just a fantastic game and can't wait for the second one. And we round it all off with Ori and the Blind Forest, an incredible indie game with gorgeous visuals and fast gameplay, followed by Pillars of Eternity Deadfire. At 89, we revisit racing games up first with the excellent F1 2019, before we move on to the long known about and loved Stardew Valley. Plants vs Zombies makes another appearance as well, before Injustice 2 comes slamming into the fold, which is a damn good fighting game, especially for those like me who are after more single player focused games when you don't have the time for multiplayer. But then we also have the fantastic Yakuza Like a Dragon. I do prefer the real-time combat, but it's still a fantastic game. Or you can revisit Albion in the great, dated, but fantastic Fable 2. And we top off this score with the incredible Dead Space, which is getting a remake, but damn, this game is still so great. Then it's on to It Takes Two, the co-op gem, or maybe the roguelike card game of Slay the Spire. And then we hit the 90 plus scores, so let's continue and start with Dead Space 2, which just continues the fantastic first game into a sequel. These are still awesome, really. And those bring us to some more indie games where, if you love difficulty and going through dungeons, well, there's Curse of the Dead Gods and Hollow Knight to completely lose yourself in. But if you want more action and a story to really sink your teeth into, then it's Nier Automata with its story and fast-paced gameplay, which then leads us into Ori and the Will of the Wisps, which takes the first game and just makes it so much better in several ways. Then we completely change gears with Microsoft Flight Simulator, which looks incredible and straddles a line between being accessible and hardcore. And then we round this all off with one of my fave games and series of all time with Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Incredible trilogy made even better. We arrive at the score of 91, and F1 makes yet another appearance with F1 2020 for the racing fans with Game Pass. Another roguelike game is also here with Dead Cells, so if you're after some difficulty in your gaming and may have been a fan of the Castlevania games, then check this one out. The excellent Psychonauts 2 takes up its deserved place here as well, with its quirky and charming humour and characters and its beautiful visuals. One for the platforming fans and one of the best in the genre in recent years easily. Then it's the third game in the original Gears of War trilogy with Gears 3, and this one still looks really good when played via backwards compatibility, and the series really evolved over the two sequels when compared to the first game. Then we also have the original Mass Effect from the Xbox 360 days here, and may be rough around the edges with pretty constant performance issues, but it's still worth checking out, but you're better off playing Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Then it's the platformer of Spelunky 2, followed by Crysis 3 on the PC. Crusader Kings 3 is also here and about to get an Xbox version. Then it's 92, and the games that reach here or above get fewer and fewer. But we start with Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age. Quite the mouthful, but this sprawling JRPG includes the base game plus other content, and it probably has one of the most recognizable visual styles out there. Then it's the fourth in the Forza Horizon series, which only continued the quality that this racing franchise has always had, and there's a ton to enjoy here. Then it's onto the excellent and memorable What Remains of Edith Finch, a walking simulator with a great setting and emotional story. Fantastic game. Then it's onto the indie gem of Undertale. The incredible Forza Horizon 5 races onto the list, and this game is just a joy to play and look at. From the base Xbox One to all of the Xbox consoles and over on the PC as well. Incredibly fun and one of the best looking games out there. For 93, it starts with the Bethesda classic of Fallout 3, the first game in the Fallout series to take the franchise out into a huge, sprawling world and change the perspective to first person. Then, it's the second game in the Gears of War franchise where the series really found its feet, and is often considered perhaps being the best in the series. More varied gameplay and setting, and a better written story and characters, plus the same great gunplay and cover system. Then it's the loved and hated Mass Effect 3, where the ending wasn't what many people wanted, but the journey for myself was still incredible. Fantastic story and characters, great worlds. As mentioned though, you can check out the Mass Effect Legendary Edition too. Then it's the excellent, fun and fast-paced Hades, followed by the gigantically successful Minecraft. Then for 94, we have the original Gears of War, where it all started and was a stunning showcase for the Xbox 360 all those years ago. But also the Elder Scrolls Oblivion. This is where the Xbox 360 hardware could deliver an RPG of this scale, way more than the OG Xbox could do with Morrowind on a technical level. The first time exiting the sewers and seeing everything in HD is one of the fondest gaming memories I have. Then the highest rated game at 96 is Mass Effect 2 back on the Xbox 360, which took the first game, got rid of all the technical issues and filler like empty planets, and instead replaced it with even more memorable characters and another story which built on the superb first game. Again, there is the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, but this is still amazing. So there are the games that are ranked 80 plus on Metacritic, and as you can see, there are loads of quality titles on Game Pass, but which ones do you think need more attention paid to them? Please let me know down below, as it helps get the video recommended to others. Give it a thumbs up, a share, and subscribe, and stop by the Discord, and I'll see you on the next video.